Today, I tried to survive 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore. This was really hard, and most of the time I came really close to dying, but with all that said, it was really fun. In these 100 days, I'll have 3 goals: to get full enchanted netherite armor, full enchanted netherite tools, and to have defeated the ender dragon. Let the 100 days begin. Subscribe! Okay, so I have no clue I'm doing this, but apparently my friend wanted me to put him in the video, so I'm just gonna put a random picture of him being dumb. Okay, bye. On day 0, I started to get wood. I got a wooden pickaxe, got some stone, got a stone pickaxe, got some more stone, then I crafted myself a stone axe and a stone shovel. Once I got to an area that I liked, I decided that I would be living in the mountain right here on the side. So I started terraforming by breaking some grass, and I know I wasn't going to start building right now, so I just made like a little cave inside of the mountain just so I can have a little place to stay for the night. Wait, what in the... Why is my skin like this? Anyways, the first night I decided that I would go and get some coal, maybe some iron if I can find some. So I decided to mine down like this to make sure I didn't fall into any lava, and I found some coal, and I also found some iron right next to it, which was absolutely perfect. Once I got back up to the surface, I decided to go back into my house and start smelting my iron in a furnace, and the first thing I did was make some shears. I did this because I wanted to get some sheep just so that I can get some wool to make a bed, because I want to sleep for the night. So I made myself a bed and I slept. On day 1, all I did was get wood for my future house that I would be building. On day 2, I knew I was gonna have to go mining eventually, so I decided, why not go now? Made myself a stone axe and 2 stone pickaxes. When I started mining, I instantly found a lot of iron, and I also found a lot of coal, which would be really good because I still needed fuel for my furnace. So once I was done with that, I decided that I would start digging down in the same formation that I did the previous night so I didn't eventually fall into lava and eventually die. I ended up finding a little opening with water in it. It didn't really have anything much, but I just decided to light it up just so that mobs didn't spawn and come after me. So after this, I decided to dig a little bit out, and then I started to dig down once again just so that I can maybe find some lava and hopefully some diamonds. Luckily, I was able to find some lava right under the water. I used the water to get the obsidian, or to get the lava to the obsidian, and I then went AFK because I needed to pee. Yeah. When I was back, I decided to go even further down because I didn't think it was enough, and there was actually a cave right below the lava, which I was not expecting. So once I was in the cave, I ended up fighting mobs. I found a ravine that I would later be exploring, and I also found some iron, which right next to it was actually some diamonds, and this would be the first diamonds that we would collect on the world. Before I got the diamonds, I needed to get a iron pickaxe, so I made 2 iron pickaxes. I made myself an iron axe, and I started making myself armor so I can get full iron armor. Once I got the iron armor, I was looking kind of drippy. I was looking kind of dripped out. So I kept on mining, and I actually found even more diamonds in a little pool of water, which was actually perfect. Once I got back home, I knew that I needed to start off on my base. Before I did this, I went organized my chest, put on my iron, my gold, my coal, my lapis, my redstone, my diamonds, every single ore that I got from mining I put inside my chest. And right after this, I started work on my base. By day 20, I'd finished everything, and I decided that I wanted to put my little area for animals into use, so I decided to go out and start getting some animals. The first animal I got were some sheep. They were pretty easy. The only thing that they were doing was that they're, insanely slow. So I had them come into the chamber that I'll be killing them in. I mean the chamber that I would be feeding them very good food. And then I got some pigs. The pigs were pretty much easy. They were actually pretty fast. Well, noticeably faster than the sheep. The sheep were just so sucky. And I put them 2 spaces away from the sheep, just to keep them farther apart, since the one in the middle was for cows, since it was so much bigger. And I was able to get some cows as well. I just got 2 cows, and I also decided to get a chicken because, why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Once I got the animals, I put the cows in its space, and I put the chicken in its space, and there you go. I had a full coop with animals. Next thing I decided to do was get all my chests away from my bridge and actually put them inside my house where I'd be putting my storage room. And after this, I wanted to make a mine. I wanted to make a mine mainly because I just didn't have anywhere to go when mining. Like, I was just going around places mining in the ground, so I wanted to have a dedicated spot for that. When I found this cave, I instantly found a ton of iron. There was actually a lot of iron. I wasn't expecting there to be so much iron, but along with iron, I actually found a ton of coal too, which was extremely great because I would be needing coal in everything that I do. And I also found a cave that had a really big lava pool and the ravine that I told you that we would be later exploring. This was that same ravine. Once I was done there, I decided to go exploring, and I was lucky enough to find some diamonds, but I can only collect them after I killed this skeleton and this zombie, which was extremely annoying for some reason. When I got this, it was only a 2 vein, but I'm not really complaining. And dude, every time I watch this, I'm like, oh my god, what's going on through my mind? I missed a vein of diamonds. It just went right by my eyes, but luckily I was able to get it again, because if I really missed this and I was recording this and I saw it, I would be so mad. But luckily it was a 9 vein, so that was pretty good. After that, I just decided to go back to my base, and I put everything that I got to smelt just so that I can have it later on and, actually use it for normal resources, because you can't really use ores for anything. Once I did this, on day 22, I decided to start on my farm. It wasn't anything crazy or anything big, but I just wanted to have some small food source for me and my animals. And I also went out to go kill some animals because I had like 0 food. And when I mean I killed all the animals, I mean there was not a cow, sheep, or pig in sight after I did this, okay? They were all just dead. It was in my inventory by then. They're all just gone. Just never to be seen again. After I did this, I went back to my base. I got the resources that I got the previous night, and I put all my meat to cook so I can eat it in the future. Once I did that, I decided to spend the night just killing some mobs for XP. At this point, I wanted to get to the nether, so I decided that it was time to make myself a nether portal. I started looking at my base to see where it'd be symmetrical, and before you know, I started mining. So yeah, I made myself an enchantment room too, so let's get to that. So I started to get impatient, and I decided that I would just go to the nether now, since I just want to see where our spawn was. And our spawn was a little weird. We spawned on top of lava in a crimson forest. But after I did this, I just went back to building my space. Once I was done building, I went over to my chest, got some cobblestone, got some gold, and I went to the nether. Pretty sure you guys can figure out what I did then. Before I went to go trade with the piglins, I saw in the distance a bastion. This seemed like it was a treasure bastion, so I knew I was going to get a lot of loot. When I started to trade with the piglins, I put gold on the floor and they all came racing right after. When I was trading with the piglins, I actually hit one of them by accident, and every single piglin that was around them just started racing right after me, trying to kill me. There were so much piglins. I don't even know how much there were, but there were just a lot. But I was able to get to the nether portal fast enough, and I was back at my base. Good thing I didn't die out there, because that would have been the end of the world. I looked in my inventory and I was only able to get some quartz, some obsidian, and a fire rest, so it wasn't that good. On day 26, I didn't really do anything, but I did find an enderman, so I put him in a boat and I named him Myrtle. So now we have Myrtle the enderman. On day 27 to day 29, I decided to go mining, and just when I found a lava pool, I was able to look around the corner and actually found some diamonds, which is actually perfect. When I actually got to the diamonds, it was only a 3 vein, but you know, I'm not really complaining, diamonds are diamonds, so I would be able to make a pickaxe with that. As I kept on mining, I actually led myself into a cave, and this cave led into an even bigger cave, and it was swarming with a ton of mobs. So I had to kill these skeletons, and I had to kill creepers too, along with zombies, but it wasn't that much of a big deal. I just had to hit them a couple of times and then they were dead. As I kept on going inside the cave, I actually found a ravine that connected into the cave, and there were diamonds sitting right at the bottom. So as I went down to go collect the diamonds, I found even more diamonds, so I decided to go to those first. And when I actually went to those, this was actually a pretty big vein. I'm pretty sure it's about 4 diamonds that I got here. It's not too much, but it's just a good amount of diamonds. As I progressed further into the cave, I was able to find a spider spawner, but there were a ton of spiders swarming around them. As I went to the side, I decided I would start mining around just to try to get rid of that one spider, but once I went around the corner, I found myself a creeper. And at first, I didn't really care about this creeper, so I decided to hit it once and I thought it would go away. But over time, it started getting closer and closer to me and ended up blowing up. At this point, I wasn't really scared, but then another spider came after me and it started hitting me multiple times, but I was determined to fight it. Once I was done fighting the spider, I decided to block myself in because I didn't want to die here. I placed on a torch and I started eating to regain my health. Once I regained enough of my health, I saw another spider and it instantly tried to attack me. I was able to kill it without it landing not one hit on me. After this, I went to go break the spider spawner as fast as I could. Once the spider spawner was gone, I knew that no more spiders would spawn, so I wasn't as scared as I was before. Once I turned the corner, I encountered another spider spawner. This time, the spider was a lot harder to fight. It got a ton of hits on me and was able to poison me, and it got me down almost to half health. I then decided to mine into the wall and block myself in so that I could eat and regain my health. At this point, I decided that it was time to go back out. I looked through the corner and I saw another spider. This spider was a lot faster than the previous one and was able to hit me another time. I knew that I had to get the spider spawner, so I ignored the poison and I went straight for the spider spawner. Luckily, I was able to get it. I knew that I couldn't fight the spider, so I decided to block myself in, regen for my hearts. Once I was done regenning, I knew that I couldn't fight the spiders, so I went on to block myself in. I went, blocked myself in, and I decided to go back home. Once I got home, I was so much more relieved that I was able to get back to my house. The first thing I did was put all my iron to smelt so I could use it, and I also decided to make some bookshelves so I could put in my enchanting room. Those would be the first bookshelves I ever put. I also decided to put some lapis in there just for future reference. I decided to get my diamonds and I wanted to make myself my first set of diamond armor. I decided to make myself my chest plate, leggings, boots, and helmet. I decided to go to the nether, and once I got into the nether, I forgot that the piglins were after me. I quickly logged, trying to figure out what my next move would be. As I went back in, the piglins were no longer mad at me. However, I didn't want this to happen again, so I decided to block off around me and make sure my surroundings were secure for me to come in and out of the nether portal. After this, my heart was racing, so I decided to go and say hi to my sheep and cows and to breed them. Once I got back into my base, I decided that I wanted to make a space dedicated for my diamond armor. I decided to make myself an armor stand, and I put all my armor on this one armor stand, and I also got some iron armor just so that I can look more aesthetically pleasing and more symmetrical. After this, I decided to go to the bastion that I recently found. I didn't get myself hurt here, but I just wanted to get the loot so I can get a little more stacked in the world. There were a lot of mobs, but once I was able to kill them, I was able to go down and start blocking off the area so that they couldn't get back in. After this, I went down to go and locate the chest on this side of the bastion, and I saw some more mobs. After I took out these mobs, I quickly looked in the chest, and in the first chest, I was able to find a diamond tool that I wouldn't have to craft now that I had it. The next chest wasn't as good. All I got was a Soul Speed 2 book, but I could easily get this from training with piglins, so it was not that good. The third chest, which was a double chest, I was able to find a golden apple and ancient debris. Everything else in the chest was pretty much useless to me. I decided to go down inside the actual bastion, but not fully loot it, just loot the chests that were on the side platforms. As I got down, I found and located my first chest. This chest had a diamond silk touch pickaxe. This was insanely good, now I didn't have to craft it. My second chest wasn't as good, the only thing useful to me were the pork chops and the gold. My third chest wasn't as good either. It had some gold and an efficiency 4 gold axe, which I wouldn't be needing since I was going to be making myself a diamond axe. After this, I went back to my base and relocated my items back into the chest that I had recently made when I built my house. After this, I decided to get the bone meal and bone meal the life out of my crops. So after this, I went to my cows and my sheep and my pigs, and I decided to breed them once more so I can get some more animals inside of my fences. Once I was done with this, I knew that I had to go looking for a village, so I decided to go on my way and start looking at a village that I can find some villagers and hopefully get some enchantment books. On the first night, I was not able to find anything, so I slept next to a beehive. Next morning, I decided to grab the beehive from its post, and luckily I was able to get the enchantment of total bee location, which needed me to get 3 bees inside of a bee's nest with silk touch. I then got my bed and kept on going. As I got to a mountain, over the mountain, I found a village, and in excitement, I'd even climb down. I just decided to run and lava clutch wherever I could find a block. Once I got to these villages, I decided to loot the chests, and they weren't as good, although I did find potatoes that I would later be wanting to plant in my farm. Before I did anything else, I decided to make myself a nether portal and go inside of the nether so I could locate where this nether portal was to my main nether portal at my base. After looking around for a while, I was able to locate the stone platform that I made over to the bastion, and I knew that that was where my portal was. I then decided to get a ton of planks and then craft them later on into wood so I could go and make myself a staircase up to my original nether portal. I hesitated to go down the staircase because at the bottom of the staircase near the nether portal I found a ton of piglins, and I also found a ghast that was close to me. I decided to fight the piglins, and this wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I realized that the aim of the piglins wasn't as good, and I was able to easily fight the piglins and take them out one by one. Once I was done fighting the piglins, I decided to instantly go back into my nether portal. When I got back to the overworld, I instantly started getting a lot of sugarcane so I could make bookshelves to then later make lecterns for the villagers. Once I got my lectern, I decided to change the craft of this armorer and turn it into a librarian. The first enchant that my librarian got was Silk Touch for 8 emeralds, but after consideration, I realized that at this point I did not need it. After trying for a little while, I decided to settle for bookshelves, which is what I would need to get myself bookshelves for my enchantment room. After I started trading with Fletchers and I started trading them sticks for more emeralds, at the end I was able to get about a stack and 10 of emeralds, which is actually really good. I went to the nether portal that I created in the village and I actually found the librarian hanging out with the piglins, so I ended up trading with him, and in total I was able to get about 11 bookshelves, which I would put in my enchantment room. In my opinion, the end result was pretty good, but I still did have one missing, so I decided to get some sugarcane the next day and just craft myself the last one so it could all be complete. After this, I decided to get all my diamond armor because I wanted to enchant it so I can just get a little bit of an upgrade. And when I enchanted it, I was able to get Prot 3 Unbreaking 3 on the helmet, Protection 3 Unbreaking 3 on the chest plate, Unbreaking 3 and Prot 4 on the diamond leggings, and Unbreaking 3 Feather Falling 4 on the boots. On day 41, I started off the day by breeding all of my cows and killing some sheep. Poor sheep, very poor sheep. After tending to my animals, I got a ton of cobblestone in my chest because I'll be building a mob farm. I decided to put the hoppers under the chest and put them on top of the chest as well, and spent the rest of the day getting wood so I could make trapdoors for the mob farm. On day 42, I began the mob farm. On day 44, I had finally finished the mob farm, and I think it came out insanely good. On day 45 and day 46, I just decided to AFK the mob farm, and it was producing me little to no XP and no mob drops. So I was really confused about this, so I decided to go up to the mob farm, and there were absolutely no mobs in it. I don't know what was going on, but if you guys do know, please tell me in the comments, because I was honestly really confused about this. I then decided to AFK even more just to see if anything would change, but as you probably realized, nothing changed. I started to think that the problem was with all the other mobs, such as my animals, so I started to move them, and once I was done moving them, I thought that the problem had resolved itself, so I just went about my way. As the day progressed and I kept on farming for XP, I actually found a zombie villager, and I wanted to cure him just to get the achievement since I already had villagers in the other villages that I found. So I actually trapped him, and I decided to go get myself a boat. I decided I had my boat to go and cure it, but there was no villager. It was just gone. And I was just a little bit mad because I wanted to get the achievement. On day 49, all I did was do normal chores like cutting trees, getting sugarcane, getting wheat, and breeding together my cows and my sheep. On day 49, I decided to get a horse, and this horse was actually pretty fast if you ask me. I wasn't expecting it to be this fast, but it would also be a plus. On day 50, I went to go get some coral because I would be doing a project in 200 days, and I also decided to get some sea pickle that I would later be using for a project. When I got back home, I put my horse up so I didn't go away or anything happened to him, and I went on to enchant my pickaxe. I was able to get in breaking 3 and efficiency 4 on it, which is actually pretty good, and for the rest of the day, I went and tried to AFK the mob farm to see if anything would happen. On day 51 to 55, all I did was go mining, so here's a little montage of the ores that I got. As I was mining, I actually found a zombie spawner, so I ended up killing all the mobs, lighting the place, and I went on to get into the chests, but the chests were pretty bad. I actually kind of got lost while trying to find my base, but I actually found a village. But before I did anything else for the day, I decided to steal a villager's bed and go to sleep. The first thing I did when I got up the next morning was go to a ruin portal that I found, but it ended up not having any loot, so I decided to write down the coords and leave and go back to my base. While going back to my base, on day 56, I actually found another village, so I ended up writing down those coords again and then going back home because I really need to get home. Once I got back home, it felt good to be home, so I went, made myself a diamond sword, and I started enchanting. I was able to get sharpness 4 and breaking 3 on one, which is actually really good, and after I crafted another one, I got a breaking 3, looting 3, and knockback 2, which was amazing. So I wanted to get sharpness 5, so I just enchanted another one and got sharpness 4 and breaking 3 on that one as well, and I combined them together, and while I tried to put the other one together, I realized that I did not have enough levels, so I did the alternative and went to my broken mob farm hoping that something would spawn. And after a while, something was spawning. I was gaining a little bit of levels, but not enough, so I actually just started playing in a boat because I was really bored and I just didn't have anything to do. To be honest, this was actually more fun than just waiting there. I ended up getting almost enough levels, but I grew impatient, went back, and realized that if I just put it in a different order, I can get it faster. Bruh. I started going through a bunch of names, and after going through the schlonger, I decided to get fire and ice with the cool symbol in the middle because I just thought it looked nice. I then got an axe and I enchanted it, and the enchants weren't good because I didn't have that much levels, so I decided to stick with it. I went back to the spruce village and I looked at the protection and I didn't have enough emeralds, so I just decided to roam around and start getting trees because I wanted to finish my prop 4 set. After realizing that all the villagers were sold out, I decided to go back to my base. Once I was at my base, I got all the gold I had collected previously, got some food, and I went to the nether to go trade with some piglins. When I first got there, their first instinct was to attack me, but I was able to give them some of my precious gold, and he still attacked me, so I had to end his life. side. I went to go chill with his other friends, and it was actually pretty good. One of them gave me obsidian, and I started trapping with it so that they didn't get out. And in the end, he gave me a pretty good amount of loot, so I was actually pretty happy about that. Okay, so this was my master plan. This is me right here. I was gonna go up here to drink my fire ice pot, then get a lava bucket, go on top of the bastion, clutch all the way down, take no fall damage because I had a lava bucket, get the chest, get the gold, forget about the piglins and the magmas because they just can't get to me because I have lava, get out and go to back to my home, and then boom, I win the game. Check. Easy. So I put the plan into effect. I drank my fire as, jumped down, took a little bit of fall damage, but I just thought it was because, I just couldn't clutch at that point. So I started digging out an area, and this is the area that I would be going down and jumping inside. So I jumped down, didn't jump the full way, but I just saw a whole bunch of piglins racing at me, so I decided to jump. Okay, just time to jump, we're good. At this point, I thought, I was pretty home free, just saw a little couple of magmas, and I decided to hit the brute piglin just because I thought it was funny, and I turned my back 1 second. Thing hits me, but I don't think anything of it, and I'm good. A ton of piglins start racing at me, and I just get insanely scared. All these stuff are racing at me, and they start to get me really low until I get down to half a heart. At this point, I'm insanely scared, and I run for my life, go inside of a wall, and block myself up. I needed to regen, or this was going to be the end of the hardcore world. Once I thought I had regened enough, I went back out and went back to the battle area. I hit the piglins a couple of times until they died, and I also had to fight a couple of magmas off because they were attacking me. I quickly got the gold that was around me, and I started blocking off the area so that no more piglins could come and attack me. At this point, I was basically home free. I saw a ton of good loot in the chest, and I collected all of it, and along with that, I collected the last of the gold, and I was home free. I was insanely happy that I was able to get back, so I thought I could go and try and find another fortress. I started digging into the wall, and after mining for a really long time, I couldn't find anything in the distance. I was using my Optifine trying to get into the small spots, but I couldn't find anything, so I decided to go back home. Once I got back home, I made my netherite leggings, and I also made myself a netherite chestplate. At this point, I was halfway to full enchanted netherite armor. I went back to see if I could find anything else and if I missed anything, and while using my Optifine, I was able to find the tiniest bit of nether fortress bricks, and I decided that I would be going to see if I was right. After traveling for a while, I knew I was right because I saw the blazes. I started attacking the blazes, and I also got the achievement of a terrible fortress. These blazes were doing a lot of damage to me, so I had to go behind a wall and start regenning, but once I regened, I went on with my looting 3, and I got all the blaze rods I needed to fight the ender dragon. Though I didn't need any more blaze rods, I decided to get 24 just in case and to have extra. The first thing I did when I got back home was make a brewing stand and put it in the room across from my enchantment table. When I got back to the nether, I decided to make myself an ender chest with the loot I got from the piglin. As I kept on trading with the piglins, a ton of other piglins decided to come and attack me. I was stuck with the piglin and the zombie pigman. I couldn't hit because I knew that more zombie piglins would be coming after me, so I decided to press escape and think about my next move. The best idea I could come up with was put my fire res and take my lava bucket and quickly and securely get out of the hole and run away. I knew that this could have ended very badly for me. I took some blocks, blocked up, and I quickly regened as I waited for my hearts to go up. I decided to go back to the piglins because I still needed some more ender pearls, and I kept on trading with them, but this time I did it a lot safer. On day 64, I started work on my mob farm, and on day 67, it was finally done. So on day 68 to day 70, I just AFK'd it. On day 70, I made myself a pickaxe, and with that same pickaxe, I used the levels I got and got efficiency 4. And I also enchanted another one and got silk touch and efficiency 4 on it. I combined the same pick that I just enchanted with my other pick and got efficiency 5 on breaking 3 and made my I like it cut G pickaxe. I also enchanted my silk touch to be named Silky Leaf. On day 71, I went back to the cave and I met up with my enderman that I named and forgot his name. So I just went into the boat and I started traveling with him, and we eventually got into water and it was really glitchy, so I had to leave, and I hit him and then he wanted to get mad at me. Like, why would you be mad at me for hitting you? Calm down. So I went on to do what I actually came here for, which was make a path to my zombie spawner from my base. And when I finally got there, it was a pretty straight path. And from day 71 to 72, I just AFK'd there. On day 72, I went back to my base to enchant the diamond pickaxe that I had unenchanted, and I got Silk Touch, but I didn't really want it, so I decided to put it on my axe, which was actually really good. So I got Efficiency 4, Silk Touch, and Unbreaking 3 on that, and I got Unbreaking 3, which is insanely bad. I needed more levels, so I went back to my zombie spawner and got more levels. Once I got back to my base, I decided to enchant it again for the third time, and I got exactly what I needed, which was Efficiency 4 and Fortune 3. Once I was done with that, I went to my anvil and named it Checked Over Stripes, which is my favorite Drake lyric. I then went on to trade with some Fletchers and got myself the protection book that I needed, and I also went to the other village that I found while walking home that one time, and I traded with those villagers too, just so I can get more emeralds, and I ended off with 64 emeralds and about 24, which was insanely good in my opinion. After this, I went back home and I went to the nether so that I can go back to the spruce village. Watch this transition too. Insanely clean transition. Oh my god, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. Once I reached the librarian, I got my second to last and my last book that I would need to fully enchant my armor with prop 4. This was going to be really good. Once I got back to my base, I started enchanting some books to see if I can get anything good, and I actually got Aqua Affinity, which I'm going to put on my helmet, and I enchanted a bow, and my first thing that I got was Flame, Power 4, and Unbreaking 3, which is amazing. I then enchanted my shovel with Efficiency 2 because I didn't have enough levels, and my diamond hoe with the same enchant. I then enchanted my other axe, and it was a really bad enchant. At this point, I put the prop 4 on all my armor, and I ended up in the end having full enchanted diamond / netherite prop 4 armor. On day 77, I knew I needed to get more netherite, so I went to the nether, found a random spot, and started digging an area that I can find netherite. Since I collected a good amount of netherite, I decided to put together a netherite mining montage thing. On day 78, I was heading back to my base when a piglin pushed me off and I instantly logged and got off for the day. When I got back on the next day, I was swimming in lava and I was insanely scared because my armor didn't have mending on it and it was really close to dying. So I had to really quickly keep on eating and regenning, hoping that I wouldn't die. I ended up actually getting back to the surface of the nether and I quickly blocked myself in and regened until I had enough hearts. Once I was at about 6.5 hearts, I decided to keep on speed bridging in order for me to get back to my base. This backfired because while I was going back up, I fell in for the second time and I just logged on for that day too. So the next day I came back and I was still in another part of lava, and I've been in this lava for the third day now, which was insanely bad for me. And I just did the same thing I did last time, kept on eating bread until I got to my staircase and I quickly regened, hoping that I didn't die. My helmet was sadly about to break and I hoped that it didn't break while I was burning. This time I was a lot more cautious in what I did and didn't decide to speed bridge while going up under a gigantic pool of lava without fire res, so I was able to make it back to my base. On day 78, I had gotten all the netherite scraps and took my gold and turned it into 3 netherite ingots. I put netherite on my boots, on my helmet, and I also put it on my sword to increase the attack damage to 11. Now, I was able to finally complete the Cover Me in Debris challenge. Finally made it, but it was worth it. On day 79 to day 80, I just chopped wood to trade with Fletchers, and on day 81, I went to the oak village I had found by walking home, and the second trade was mending for 32 emeralds, which was insanely good, so I immediately got 2 books as fast as possible. From days 81 to 85, I grinded for wood, and on day 85, I was able to go back to the mending villager and get a total of 12 mending books to put on all of my armor. It was insane, and it was all worth it. On day 85, I got back to my base and I instantly went back to my anvil, took off my armor, and enchanted everything I have. I also decided to name my axe Woodchuck equals check, I don't know why, and I continued putting mending on everything I had. On day 86 to day 89, I just went to the nether to get some experience by mining quartz and gold, but I realized that it didn't give me anything, and I also was able to get a ghast first try because, you know, I'm just godly at the game. And when I got back to my base, I had a ton of quartz and a ton of gold, so I spent a little bit of time turning it all into gold ingots and to full quartz blocks. Not to mention, I also named my shield Protector, and I also copyrighted everything I had because I just thought it looked cool. And on day 90, I went back to the Oak Village, got Infinity, which I was super happy about as you can see, and spent the rest of the day chopping wood. Once I got enough emeralds, I went back to the villager, got myself an Infinity book, and went about my business. On day 91, I set back on my journey home, but I found a rune portal, so I stole its gold and its golden apples, and I kind of got lost, but it wasn't that bad because I was able to find another oak village, which I was really happy about, and I slept in the villager's bed by stealing it, so yeah, poor villager. I started off day 92 by trying to get a fortune book on this villager, and after trading for a really long time, it actually got fortune 2 for 14 emeralds, so I had to stick with it. On day 93, I kept on trading with other villagers and I got thorns 3 for 13 emeralds, so I immediately had to get 2 of these books for my chest plate and for my leggings. After this, I decided to leave and go back to my base. Once I got back to my base, I put an infinity on my bow, but I couldn't put thorns on my leggings or my chest plate, so I decided to go to the mob farm and get some XP. When I got back, I still couldn't put thorns in my armor, so I just decided to put fortune 3 on my Kikuji pickaxe, and I started gathering netherrack because I would be going on the lookout for a fortress. I also got some potions of fire resistance because I knew that eventually I may be falling, and I started on my journey. After mining for a really long time, I ended up seeing the nether bricks that a nether fortress has. I began bridging, and after speed bridging for a really long time, I actually fell into the lava, but I had fire resistance, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't want the same thing to happen before, so I quickly went up, went to the nether fortress, and ran right past the mobs. Some wither skeletons decided to attack me, and at first I wasn't scared, but once they got a hit on me, I just decided to go full send and started going crazy. I started just hitting them left and right, and I was able to defeat them really easily. Luckily, one wither skeleton came up behind me and it actually gave me a wither skull. Right on the corner, I found what I needed to get, nether wart. I needed to make potions, and this was exactly what I needed. On top of this, I also got the soul sand I needed in order to plant the nether wart, and I quickly left the nether fortress. Once I got back home, I started digging into the room that had my brewing stand, and I decided to make myself a nether wart room. Once I finished my nether wart room, I put seed pickles as light sources because they're actually better than torches, and I didn't want them to just be sitting around. I wanted to use them, and in the end I thought it looked pretty good. The lighting was really good. I got my water bottles that I needed in order to make my potions, and I started brewing my first potions. I went outside to see if I can find any phantom membrane, and there were literally no mobs whatsoever. There weren't any phantoms, and I was really confused about this. So if any of you guys know why there are no phantoms, can you guys please tell me, because I'm genuinely confused on why I can't find any. When I went back in, I put in my blaze rod, I put in my glowstone, and I put in my gunpowder, and I was able to get a splash potion of strength. I would be needing this to do more damage to the ender dragon. I then used my sugar and my gunpowder and my glowstone, and I made myself a splash potion of swiftness so I can move around faster. I got bottles for the achievement that I would get by picking up the breath of the dragon, and I organized my inventory. The last thing I needed to do was get myself some blocks, so I went into the nether, casually killed the piglin, and went into this chest to get my favorite blocks, which is blackstone. Once I did this, on day 90 and 99, I set off on my journey to find the stronghold. I threw my first pearl, and it actually lagged, so I ended up throwing 3, but luckily none of them broke and I was able to get all of them back. After running for a really long time, I threw another Eye of Ender, and it went the opposite direction, so I was really happy about that. Sadly, it broke. I threw another one 2 seconds after, I don't know why, but luckily it didn't break, because if it did, that would have been pretty annoying. I decided to dig down right at the mountain and take my chances with the stronghold, so I got my pickaxe out and I started mining some stone. After mining for a really long time, I couldn't find anything, and I thought that I had screwed up and I needed to go back up, but luckily I was able to find one piece of the stronghold and I made it in. On my trip to find the stronghold, I encountered some zombies, but they weren't that hard to fight, and there weren't a lot of them, so I wasn't really in a bad position. While fighting them, I looked up and I saw the fences that were on the stronghold, and I knew that this is where the end portal frame would be. I went up the water stream as quickly as I could, placed some torches around, and I went on to make a staircase down. Once I got down, I immediately encountered some more zombies, but while I was fighting them, I broke the silver spawner and I began fighting the zombies. When I looked, In the end portal frame, I knew that I didn't have enough, and this was a really big problem because I couldn't go to Nether that quick before day 100, and I wanted to fight the Ender Dragon before day 100 came. I quickly made another portal and I went inside of the Nether. When I first got into the Nether, I was hoping to find another fortress as fast as possible, so I began running around and looking at my surroundings in order to find another fortress to get blaze rods. After searching for a really long time, I was able to encounter another fortress, so I quickly climbed myself up and tried to find the blaze spawner. After looking for no time at all, I was able to find a stray blaze, so I immediately killed it and I got the one blaze rod that I needed in order to complete my end portal frame. I saw that I was starting to get low on health by the wither, so I quickly got my pickaxe out, mined through the nether brick, and found my way out of the nether fortress. While I was running, I saw in the corner of my eye that there was a warp forest, and I knew that this was near my nether portal, so when I got back to my nether portal, I tried to look for an enderman, and luckily I was able to find one. I quickly got my pickaxe and mined to the side of the wall in a 2x1 space so that the enderman couldn't hit me. The enderman wasn't appearing for a while and it ended up sneaking attacking me, but it wasn't that big of a problem since I had full enchanted netherite armor. I was able to kill the enderman and I thought I didn't get any ender pearls until I looked at my inventory and I'd gotten 3 ender pearls. This was amazing and it meant that I could finish my nether portal frame and finally go to the end. When I got back in the overworld, I quickly raced up the water stream as fast as I possibly could. I went through my little opening to go to the end portal frame. I quickly placed 2 eyes of ender and I prepared myself to go into the end. I got my shield, I got my bow, I took out my pots so I could easily access them, and now I was ready to go in. Without hesitation, I jumped in and I knew that at this point, all my work would either pay off or be for nothing. I quickly began my battle. I started bridging up and I saw the ender dragon trying to regain its health from the end crystals. I climbed up with gravel and sadly the ender dragon saw right through my plan and he began hitting me. But this was fine because I had a lot of gaps, so I ate one, went back up, and I began shooting. At this point I was making every single shot. My accuracy was on point and I was able to take out a ton of ender crystals in a short amount of time. Sadly, the ender dragon saw right through my plan again, saw what I was doing, and slowly hit me down. I luckily was able to get all the end crystals even though I was still on the ground, and I went on to keep on trying to get the end crystals even when they were in the cage. This was really easy for me and I was able to do this in a really fast pace. I saw that the ender dragon had purged, so I potted my strength, I potted my speed, and I began attacking it. The ender dragon was taking in a ginormous amount of health and it was looking really good for me. I may actually be able to go back to my home. The ender dragon kept on leaving, and while he left, I got the achievement of Dragon's Breath. I kept on shooting the dragon and my accuracy was really good, so I kept on shooting and hitting the dragon as many times as I could to lower its health. The ender dragon had hit me off but not too far and I was able to land without taking a lot of damage. I started getting a lot of hits on the dragon, but I knew I couldn't kill it with the mere bow. I decided that I would kill it with my I like it cut G pickaxe. This would be glorious. The ender dragon wasn't purging, so I decided to leave and go top of an obsidian tower and waited for it to purge. After a while, I saw it was purging and I quickly ender pearled down to kill it. This was the moment I was waiting for. Would I win or would I lose? I quickly started hitting the ender dragon and with my second shot, I was victorious. I had beaten the ender dragon in my 100-day hardcore world and it felt great. After I killed the ender dragon, I was able to go around and get all the XP that it had dropped. It had dropped so much XP that I was able to get about 67 levels in total once I collected everything. I knew that I wanted to get the dragon egg, so I went down, clicked on the dragon egg, and saw that I had teleported right here. At this point, I thought that I couldn't get it, but then realized I could make blackstone bricks and then make those into pressure plates. Once I had my pressure plate, I placed it under the dragon egg, let it fall, and like that, I completed the next generation. Without hesitation, I went through the newly made end portal and went back to my home. I was finally home free. I had completed the challenge and I had done it successfully. One of the first thing I did when I got home was make myself an item frame and name this the Dragon I Like You Cut G Egg, but it didn't work, so I had to use it like normal. This concluded my 100 days of hardcore Minecraft. It was a long journey, but in the end it was worth it and it was really fun. If you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to like and subscribe because it took me over a month to make and over 66 hours of footage to edit. But without further ado, let's try to get about 3 likes on this video. Maybe you can like it and tell 2 other friends so that they can also watch the video. But right now I gotta go, and I'll see you guys in the next video.